the fans.
Yes.
It takes a few seconds to destroy trust.
Yes.
It takes potentially years to rebuild it again.
It does.
Bearing in mind the supposed desire of the Change Board to reopen communications with the supporters and bring the club closer together,
Yes.
would yourself and Perry care to explain their thinking behind the issuing of such provocative and confrontational statements in response to the Mark Sims and Nigel Meakin developments? In particular, would they be kind enough to clarify the meaning of one of the comments near the end that seemed to state that genuine supporters could only be those who agreed with the board? Do the directors not agree that such inflammatory remarks will do little to restore harmony at the club and indeed will only cause further divisions?
Yeah. What statement are we talking about, just so that we know what you're talking about?
It was reported in the Sentinel. In the last paragraph, it referred to the need for genuine supporters.
Sorry, yeah, genuine supporters.
Genuine supporters, there was a belief that there was a statement made about Mark Sims and about Nigel Meakin. It made comments about Nigel, about feelings of dishonesty towards the way that he has approached the board in terms of him coming in with investment. It then later said in the document that they believed that genuine supporters would understand and would back them. Now, this has caused a lot of resentment amongst a lot of fans who would otherwise be coming back to the cause, would be coming back to your belief. It was a divisive statement.
Okay, and if that's the general opinion of the room, we would have to accept that as a board and CEO. If you weren't happy with that statement, we'd have to accept maybe we got that wording wrong. But however, I think when it was written, it was written with genuine intention to just try and move forward. And and we're talking. Bear in mind, we're talking about, and Nigel's here, so Nigel can speak for himself, I'm sure. But Nigel issued a statement stating quite clearly that he'd acted dishonestly in terms of his discussions with the board of directors at Port Vale. So I think perhaps in this particular instance, with Nigel's proposal to join the board, I think perhaps both sides have something to learn.
I totally agree. And I think that in terms of the way that press releases have been handled on this whole debacle, on both sides, I think there are some very strong lessons to be learned. Which brings me nicely on to my second question. Nantwich Town, please can we have a full and frank explanation? Honesty would be appreciated.
Yes, I was involved in that at the end, so I can tell you about that with a degree of confidence. There was some discussion and disagreement with Nantwich Town about whether money was owed to them for the use of their training facilities. We agreed to play, and bear in mind I came into it later on, but I did deal with it at the end. And by the way, Nantwich Town are very happy now with the outcome. We received a bill which I understood from our club secretary shouldn't be paid. Nantwich insisted that the bill was paid, and it was to do with use of their all-weather pitches in poor weather, which we'd had. But our understanding as a club was that because we play friendly there every season and let them keep all the proceeds, that was contrary against use of their facilities. Nantwich insisted that there was also the transfer of a player involved in that, and that caused a lot of general confusion, and what we had was a situation where I'd got a club assistant manager saying one thing, our club assistant manager saying one thing, club secretary saying almost the same but something slightly different, and Nantwich's chairman, who was chairman after the event that all these discussions took place, was saying something entirely different. In the end, after a lot of toing and froing, we paid a bill for the use of facilities, and we've agreed to play a friendly. We were trying to do it before Christmas this year, but I think both parties have agreed it's probably best to wait until pre-season next year and everybody's happy. So we've paid a bill of around about £1,000 for use of facilities, and agreed that any agreement we have in future will be put into writing, which I think would suit everybody.
So
I'm sure we're all happy.
right,
I'm sure.
I think Nantwich 95% of the case. Yeah, we're right actually, and I've told their chairman that. I'm sorry?
State that in the press.
Well, it's down here.
They're reported tomorrow.
I think Nantwich, as chairman, is on record of saying that he's happy and we've paid. So
I'm sure we're all glad that the matter is now resolved. However, it is still a fair reflection of the poor level of professionalism and the level of business acumen that has been used by the previous board in the running of this club, when obviously one area of the club cannot speak to another without them understanding what is going on in the background.
yeah, I think that there have been mistakes made. There's no two ways about that. But you know what I'm hoping is we can move forward and get it right more often than not moving forward, which actually is part of my job.
Which then immediately brings me to, sorry.
Sorry, Steve, just to interrupt there and to bring a little bit of humour into it. As you know, we used to be my company used to be the shirt sponsors, back of shirt sponsors at the Vale, so I've got to know quite a lot of people there. And prior to Perry coming along, setting up there, I asked one member of a particular department, commercial department, to bring something up at the next departmental meeting, and they said, like, what's a departmental meeting? And I said, well, it's where the heads of each department talk to each other and see what's going on. He said, oh, well, I did meet Bill Lodi and Bratty in the toilets last year. So I think we all accept there's been some need for improvement at Port Vale Football Club, and I would hope that Perry, as chief exec, is actually addressing that side of the business as much as what he's trying to address the commercial income side of the business.
And you know, going forward, you're going to have a virtual complete change of board. You've all wanted Bill to go, you've all wanted Glenn to go, that is now happening, and there will be new people coming onto the board to move it forward. Certainly, I agree entirely with Perry that, and I'm repeating myself, but in the past, it has not been good and needs to improve, and is now being improved very rapidly.
That brings me nicely onto a personal question that I've got, which is not on the list that I've got from everybody else.
Okay.
For me, as much of a concern is not necessarily the money that's coming in, it's the business acumen that's coming with it, and who the new board members will be, and what their credentials are, and what they can bring to this club to help to drive us forward. At the moment, we have had Mark Sims come forward. I've had lengthy discussions with Mark. I'm a businessman myself. I understand what's required, for example, a business plan. What I want to know is, what will be the makeup of the board in 3 months' time, and will it have the level of expertise to run this club in a professional manner?
That's two questions there. First of all, I can't tell you what the makeup of the board will be in 3 months, because any changes to the board will have to be voted for by shareholders. So there are things we will propose as a football club in terms of new directors, and then it's up to shareholders to vote them. What I can tell you is that the people that we propose for directorships of the club will have substantial business and football acumen, both in both cases, football and business.
We'll wait and see.